The loudest story of camp hasn't happened on the field. It's buried inside a contract negotiation that hasn't moved, a coaching staff meeting that may have reshaped the defense, and roster decisions revealing far more than any press conference. While big names keep circling the offense, Los Angeles appears to be following a different plan. Protect the players already producing and find out who can break through from within. Today, we're opening that door, separating easy connections from smart moves, and identifying where the pressure is real. Subscribe to Los Angeles Chargers News today, because the season is shifting behind the scenes. We begin in the room where silence is becoming expensive. Tuli Tuipulotu enters the final year of his rookie contract after recording 13 sacks in his third season, the sixth highest total in the NFL. ESPN's Chris Rime reports that the Chargers spoke with Tuli's representatives at different points this offseason, but no deal has materialized. That's more than routine housekeeping. Unfinished business can leave an agent's phone, enter the building, and reach the practice field when camp requires everyone's full presence. Tuli is 23. A second-round pick in 2023, he kept getting better until he became one of football's most promising, versatile edge rushers. Rime expects a major payday, though Tuli won't reset the market. The calendar creates the warning. Without an agreement soon, he could sit out practices and potentially miss the start of the season. Read the room without creating drama. A negotiation this significant involves guarantees, structure, risk protection, and multiple contracts being planned at once. No agreement does not mean the relationship is broken or make an absence inevitable. But when a reporter covering the team puts a possible holdout on the radar, that tension becomes part of camp preparation. I'll defend the Chargers' interests as fiercely as I defend Tuli. Joe Ortiz should not accept any number simply because of public pressure. Responsible management matters. So does recognizing the asset already inside your building. Los Angeles isn't evaluating a fading veteran or paying for production earned elsewhere. The Chargers are negotiating with a homegrown young defender coming off his best season. Players at premium positions affect protection plans, and usually become more expensive when they repeat that production. Think about what new defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary must install. With Jesse Minter gone, he needs every rep to adjust terminology, responsibilities, and pressure packages while keeping the defense aggressive. If Tuli isn't practicing, the damage won't fit inside a contract spreadsheet. O'Leary loses a central piece while building trust. Tuli loses time in a transitioning system. The roster answers daily questions about a situation that could have been resolved. The front office can clear this cloud before it becomes a storm. The franchise shouldn't negotiate from fear, but its leverage doesn't automatically improve with time. If Tuli confirms that 13-sack leap, the price rises. If the relationship begins to fray, the future market gains a voice. A smart structure would secure a 23-year-old pass rusher and allow O'Leary to begin with the entire defense invested. That's the first signal behind the door. Camp could begin with everyone discussing a contract when they should be sharpening the pass rush. Los Angeles can stop that. This conversation needs to become construction. If the first conversation demands urgency to keep young talent, the second requires discipline so familiarity isn't confused with a solution. Deebo Samuel is linked to the Chargers again because Mike McDaniel knows what he once brought to an offense. CBS Sports' Jordan Dajani named Los Angeles as one of the few destinations that make sense for the veteran. The history fits. With McDaniel coordinating San Francisco's offense in 2021, Deebo led the NFL at 18.2 yards per catch and produced 1,770 scrimmage yards with 14 touchdowns. That tape remains powerful. But the front office must evaluate the 2026 player, not sign the memory of 2021. Samuel hasn't reached 1,000 yards in a season since. Last year in Washington, he recorded 727 yards and 5 touchdowns in 16 games, while averaging a career-low 10.1 yards per catch. He is 30. His name energizes a fan base, and a McDaniel reunion creates its own headline. But fit is not a time machine. The most revealing clue might be what the Chargers have done, not the name appearing in outside projections. This staff seems prepared to get more from Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston in the new system. The roster also includes recent investments in Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. McDaniel's major outside addition was Brennan Thompson through the draft. That points towards speed, development, and defined roles. Not necessarily another recognizable veteran because the coordinator knows him. I understand the appeal. A healthy Deebo can line up anywhere, carry the football, and force a defense to identify his role before the snap. A creative coach will imagine ways to revive traits he already mastered. But nobody questions whether McDaniel could design plays for Samuel. The real question is whether that usage outweighs opportunities taken from younger receivers, the contract cost, and the space needed to build this offense's current identity. Justin Herbert deserves more help. I reject the lazy argument that any famous receiver automatically qualifies. Supporting your quarterback means finding separation, explosiveness, and reliability at the right price. Sometimes that comes through a major name. Other times, it means letting McConkey advance, truly testing Johnston, and discovering why the second-year players remain in the plan. A camp injury could change the need and push Los Angeles toward a bigger move. Without that emergency, a smaller addition fits the current approach if the staff identifies a missing role. Deebo remains a possibility because of a real connection from the past, but the present signals point elsewhere. The smarter move may be resisting nostalgia and discovering whether McDaniel can create his next weapon instead of rebuilding his old one. Because McDaniel owns the spotlight, another story is developing almost silently inside the coaching staff. Chris O'Leary took over the defense after Jesse Minter left Los Angeles to coach the Baltimore Ravens. That was a massive change, yet O'Leary's promotion barely registered. That might help him. Every offensive wrinkle becomes national conversation, while he gets less spectacle and more room to surprise people. The Athletic's Jordan Rodriguez identified O'Leary as the Chargers' assistant with breakout potential in 2026. Her read follows a familiar Harbaugh pattern. Talented coaches move to college football, expand their knowledge of developing schemes and pressure packages, then return to the NFL prepared for larger roles. O'Leary previously coached the Chargers' safeties, ran Western Michigan's defense, and now returns knowing the structure and key parts of the roster. That changes the succession. He isn't simply copying Minter from a notebook. O'Leary helped build elements that worked, including using Derwin James in the slot and beyond a traditional safety alignment. He knows Derwin's intelligence and aggression, understands how to disguise intentions, and recently ran his own unit. Continuity doesn't have to mean repetition. It can become the foundation for evolution. One more behind-the-scenes detail connects the staff to the roster. Nadame Tucker, O'Leary's top pass rusher at Western Michigan, signed with the Chargers as an undrafted free agent. The coordinator brought in a player who understands his demands and may speed up the translation of certain ideas during camp. The assignment is enormous. Replacing a coordinator who became a head coach invites comparison after every failed third down. Yet attention focused on McDaniel gives O'Leary room to install adjustments without selling a revolution. If the defense protects its strengths and adds pressure concepts shaped by his college experience, this promotion will stop looking like a quiet attempt to preserve the past. It could become the internal decision that pushed the Chargers forward. That connection leads to the name that could turn the coordinator's story into one of camp's fiercest battles. Nadame Tucker left Western Michigan undrafted, but he didn't arrive in Los Angeles as a favor to a familiar coach. In 13 games last season, he posted 14.5 sacks, 55 total tackles, and 21 tackles for loss. He powered O'Leary's aggressive defense. Now they reunite where past production only earns the first opportunity. The coordinator has explained why full pads practices matter. O'Leary described Tucker as a unique pass rusher, strong and powerful at the point of attack. That force doesn't always appear during lighter off-season work without real battles against the offensive line. Once the pads come on, the rookie can prove whether his impact carries from the MAC to the NFL. The path to a roster spot is crowded. Khalil Mack, Tuli Tuipulotu, and Akeem Mesidor form the established trio. Tucker must beat players who each bring different arguments. Bud Dupree's production has declined over 2 seasons, but he provides experience and run defense. Kyle Kennard had an underwhelming rookie year, yet still owns the athletic upside that convinced Los Angeles to invest in him. Tucker arrives with burst, aggression, and the confidence of a coordinator who knows his engine. Legitimate questions remain. He must improve against the run, develop more pass rush answers, and produce against stronger, more technical tackles. Familiarity may help O'Leary place him in position to compete. It cannot win the job for him. That tension makes the battle compelling. Dupree represents veteran stability. Kennard represents a project with room to grow. Tucker represents recent production, hunger, and an immediate role as a pass rush specialist. The decision will reveal what this defense values at the back of the rotation: stability, patience with a previous investment, or explosive impact now. I want the LA read in the comments. What should decide that final spot? Reliability against the run, or the ability to reach the quarterback? I want Tucker to force this staff to abandon every comfortable assumption. An undrafted rookie doesn't need star treatment. He needs to make his reps impossible to ignore. Once the pads come on, O'Leary's recommendation ends and the evaluation begins. If that power appears against the Chargers' offensive line, camp's most interesting secret may not remain secret for long. The story behind the scenes looks nothing like the easy headline. Tuli demands a decision that protects young production. Deebo tests whether this front office can separate memory from present-day fit. O'Leary is trying to turn continuity into growth, and Tucker must convert old trust into pressure. None of it gets solved by the biggest name or prettiest speech. It gets solved when Los Angeles identifies who can carry the plan onto the field. What is the Chargers' most urgent next move? Claim your place in this community, drop your answer, hit like, and subscribe to Los Angeles Chargers News today. The season starts in the details the rest of the league still isn't watching.